so we've got our data out of Cyril now, and as always, it is quite green. So, first step, of course, is let's just get rid of that a bit. We're going to decrease that. Maybe not that much, it's a bit too purple now. See, this one's interesting because it's so small in the eyepiece that it is hard to make out detail. Like, this is cropped down a lot, and the fact that I can see detail here, I'm very happy with it because it's so bright. You can actually make out the stars on the inside. The tracking is really good. You've got a galaxy up here. It's just really good, to be honest. So we're going to decrease the green. That's pretty good. And we can't use StarNet with this because it is such a bright object that StarNet detects it as a star, in my experience. So we're just going to do this. I'm going to expand this by 4 pixels. And I'm going to do good old feather by 1, lad. And then filter, other, minimum. And this just shrinks the stars down to kind of an appropriate exposure rather than being quite overexposed, as they will come out because they're so much brighter and closer than the nebula. Make that 1.2. Deselect. There we go. Now you got these bright stars up here, and you got these more dim ones back here. It gives it a little bit of depth, you know. On top of that, I'm gonna increase the brightness a bit, I think, because we don't want to, it's easy to overexpose this one because of the sheer brightness and density of the object. I say density, it's small, and all the light of it is coming out of this one small area. Let's get a little blue in there. More red too. And then a little bit dimmer. There we go, we're starting to look pretty good now. So the main thing I don't want to lose is just this little smudge. While it doesn't look like much, this is a galaxy, it's very far away, and the fact that it's being picked up is pretty damn cool, so I want to make sure that is still visible. And I guess we can just go into noise reduction already. You'd lose a lot of... Okay. How much colour you lose there. That's mental. Alright, I want to see if we can bring this back. We'll undo if we need to. But we do this, we lose the colour. Get some curves. Some more red. Some more blue. Not that much red. More blue. Oh, no, that just... Yeah, that noise reduction just kind of cancels the colour. So bring it down to 33, see what we're working with here. Still got decent colour, and we're losing the colour noise. It's good, we don't need that much noise reduction, come on now. Make sure that's still visible. Very nice, we're looking very good here. And this framing is good, in my opinion, because like we could do something like this, where you do that, but it doesn't hold up as well when you start to zoom in like that, and it's tiny, and I want to keep the impression, or I want to kind of get the message across that it is tiny, and it is not a massive, full sensor spanning object, especially when using an 8-inch telescope. I really want to photograph this with a really, really zoomed in scope, and just get as much detail on this nebulosity as I can, because this is decent detail. Having these little like kind of wisps coming out on the side here and having the star, the 2 stars inside the nebula. That's crazy that I'm able to make that out with the like magnification that I'm working with. Now, can we make this more colourful without messing with the noise? Yes, I think we can. I don't want to crop. Would you look at that? I think that's pretty damn good. Now this is a quick process because, to be frank, there's not much to do and it's so bright. So I actually think we're pretty good here. So yeah, we can move on now.
Right.
Now I smell like smoke and I feel like shit. Probably couldn't hurt if we took a day. And I'll only be as clean as I felt back at 18.
'Cause I'm not getting any younger. My lungs get blacker every day. If I were to grow a beard, stop drinking beer, I fear you might not love me enough to make you stay. I really hope you'll stay.
Alright, let's talk science. Messier 57, or the Ring Nebula, gets its name from its striking ring shape, which didn't really need an explanation, but just for the folks that don't get it. It's got a diameter of 0.9 light years and is a planetary nebula. It's estimated to be around 2,300 light years away from Earth and is best viewed in early summer. I forgot I was making this video, which is why I'm releasing it in late October. It's got a magnitude of 8.8 and it is bright. It's super tiny, super compact, and is just glowing in the night sky. I think this is due to it being super small and early in the planetary nebula process, where the outer layers have just started to blow outwards, so they're all kind of close together, and it's still not too long after that initial, if you know what I mean. As mentioned, it's a planetary nebula, and these beautiful nebulae are created from the death of average-sized stars. They're shedding their outer layers out into space, and the heat from this explosion or shedding causes them to glow in these wonderful colours. I think the blue is oxygen, the red is hydrogen, and somewhere in there there's some helium, nitrogen, and sulfur. When looking at the nebula close up, you can actually make out that white dwarf that is left from the star. Now, a white dwarf is the core of a star that's been compressed over time through the star's life. So when a massive star dies and it collapses in on itself, it crushes the core down to a point so tiny and so dense that the gravity is so strong that not even light can escape. A black hole. But when an average star dies, it crushes it decently, but it doesn't crush it to the point where it's like distorting the light around it like a neutron star or a black hole. So you get a white dwarf. They're super small, they're not powered in a way, they're just kind of sitting there cooling over time, but they are still super dense and interesting in their own right. It's about the size of an average planet, which is the measurement that I could find, which isn't really helpful, and it's about 0.6 solar masses, so it's a little lighter than the sun. However, it is sitting at a smooth 120,000 degrees Celsius, which will boil the kettle. Like a lot of other deep sky objects, a lot of sunning detail lies in what we cannot see. I use an unmodified camera because I use my camera for other things other than astrophotography, and modifying it and taking out that red light filter kind of destroys the use of it in an actual photography context rather than just astrophotography. But if you're looking at this nebula using a modified DSLR or a dedicated astrophotography camera, it just brings the object to life even more. There's this beautiful red halo that just is emitted from the inside, and it really shows the explosive outward movement of the gas from this planetary nebula process. Now, what I touched on earlier in the video is a distant galaxy in the frame of this picture. It'll be in frame of almost every Messier 57 picture, even if you can't see it. It's just up a little bit from the main nebula, and it's very, very faint. It's a barred spiral galaxy known as IC 1296, and God almighty, it's a behemoth. It's 120,000 light years across, so it's bigger than the Milky Way, and it's 238 million light years away, which means the light from this galaxy departed it 238 million years ago and has been zooming through space at literally the speed of light since the dinosaurs were around. To be specific, 238 million years ago, the first pterosaurs were beginning to evolve and dinosaurs would soon be taken to the sky. And the light that left that galaxy when the dinosaurs were just starting to fly is only arriving here now. That shows just how big this universe is and how tiny we are in it, that we can see that. I've only seen a couple images where you can actually make out significant detail in it, like this one I found on AstroBin, of seriously the most detail I've ever seen in this galaxy, and it actually makes out this strong spiral structure in something that's 238 million light years away. To conclude this video, I'd like to say how absolutely happy I am with this image. I've combined data from 2024 and 2022 when I shot this nebula right before I left for uni to create kind of a final really good image along with the Dumbbell Nebula. It's a super tiny object, and my 8-inch telescope paired with my camera has a massive field of view, which makes it kind of hard to do these tiny objects, but I like to think I've done it quite a bit of justice. As well as this, I'm very happy with how the summer sessions turned out in the end. It's the best I feel I've ever been in this hobby, and I'm so happy to be doing it regularly again. I can't believe literally a couple months ago I would have to be waiting 5 months at a time for 2 weeks at home, where sometimes I just wouldn't even get clear skies, then I'd have to wait another 4 months. But being back here and being able to do it regularly just whenever the weather allows me is absolutely fantastic. I've seen new objects, I've taken my best pictures of previous objects, and I think I've made my best videos yet. It's properly autumn now, it's cold, it's humid, it's rainy, and it's cold. So from here on out, we'll be moving on to the autumn sessions. But yeah, thank you for watching the summer sessions, and I'll see you soon in autumn. Never stop looking up.